Oh, great. So it looks like we get to extract a couple of at least one broken screw so far. I suspect that this seal has been in here since 1967. Well, howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel. We're starting to get things moving here again. We've had a little bit of a break, but that's been due to winter time and also the workload in my shop. So at any rate, today we're going to start working on getting private parts here prepped for the hardtop installation. We've got to go ahead and repair some things, but at any rate, so we're going to get started. First thing we got to do is we got to pull the soft top off, pull the spare tire, and pull some of the other things that we've got. You know, the water can, the stuff on the inside that needs to be moved out of the way before we can get started on getting the hardtop installed. So with that, let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the side curtains unstrapped. Now we're not going to go ahead and pull the side curtains off of the soft top here, just because if I pull them off, it's a better chance of me putting them someplace safe where I'm never going to find them again. So, and you know, the hardtop is not going to be a permanent installation. At least at this point in time, I'm not planning on it. Because honestly, I do like running around in the summertime with just the soft top on. I'm going to pull all of this stuff loose on this side. And then on over to the other side and get the other stuff loose. Now we need to pull the spare tire off to go ahead and give us room back here. And we're going to need to pull the fuel can off. Now, one of the things that that does end up happening is we're going to have to relocate this top strap onto the back panel of the hardtop itself. But what we're going to do is we have an extra set of fuel can straps, and this one here you can see is getting pretty worn, so we're going to end up probably just going ahead and replacing this stuff altogether. This will give us a little bit of room to work back here, and plus the fact we need the room back here to get the straps off so we can get the soft top loose. All right, we had some technical difficulties while we were getting all of the soft top stuff unhooked and ready. So at any rate, we lost that footage, but it's pretty basic. Now the next thing we've got to do here is we've got to take the bows off. So we have to remove these 3 bolts here on both sides, and that will allow us to go ahead and pull the top bows completely off. So those are 1/4 inch bolts, 1/4 inch or 5/16. So they'll take either a 7/16 or 1/2 inch socket. So we're going to go ahead and pull all of the seats, the ice chest, and all of that other stuff out of the way so that I've got more room to work, because I'm going to have to be working inside once we start putting the panels up. Okay, I think we've got enough stuff out of the way now. We can grab some sockets. Well, that is going to take a 7/16 socket. And then we're going to need a 7/16 box opening wrench. And we've got a bunch of crud underneath here, so okay. Now, I have never pulled one of these things apart, so it looks like there are weld nuts underneath, which makes it a whole lot easier to do this. We got one side done. Now make sure you don't lose the bolts. And that should be all it's going to take to go ahead and pull this whole thing off. And it's a good idea to make sure that this is unattached. There we go. All right, now we have the bows loose. We need to move the antenna, the radio antenna, out of the way here. Now we're going to go ahead and fold the windshield down. We have to go ahead, this is part of the maintenance stuff that we have to do. This is part of the maintenance stuff that we have to do. You can look, and this seal along the windshield base here is destroyed. It's no good anymore. So we're going to have to go ahead and fold the windshield down. I have another windshield frame that's used that has a relatively good seal on it. These seals here are really hard to find, and when you find them, they're pretty expensive. So at any rate, we'll get the windshield folded down and then see what it's going to take to go ahead and pull that seal off of there. Now for private parts, this deal here is difficult. These pins are a real pain in the butt. Everything is kind of loose here, so and part of that is due to this right here. This is not in real good shape anymore, and that's one of the other things we're going to look at. We're going to look at and see if we have replacements for that as well. So in order to get these pins out, and I usually use my my Gerber tool when I'm when I'm folding and unfolding the windshield, out in the field. And so, but a pair of pliers will work. You just want to remember to make sure that when you fold the windshield down, you put these somewhere where they're not going to get lost. Now we can fold the windshield down. So you can see underneath here, this seal is pretty much done for. So we're going to get a screwdriver and go ahead and hopefully we're going to be able to break this stuff loose. Oh, great. So it looks like we get to extract a couple of at least one broken screw so far, which I am not surprised at. All right, that should be all of them. I got one more here. And that one broke off. So now we're going to try to get this pried out of here. I suspect that this seal has been in here since 1967 or so. So when I end up pulling this thing out of here, it's going to end up being destroyed. We're going to use a pry bar here. Help pry this thing loose. And we're also going to pull the vacuum lines for the windshield wipers. Get those out of the way. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is because anytime that I've driven old Pvt Parts out in the rain, I have had a stream of water coming from between the windshield and the dash and the cowl here. And it's just because this seal is in such bad shape. Make sure I didn't miss any screws, and I did. I missed a screw. And there we have it. As you guys can see, there's a whole bunch of residue still left on there, so we're going to have to get on there with probably a wire wheel and get that stuff cleaned off. All right, you can see that that looks a whole lot better. All right, folks, we've got the windshield loose, and we've got the surface somewhat prepped. We're going to have to put some paint on it, so we're going to have to wait till tomorrow to do that. The other thing we're going to do is on this piece right here, grab the camera and show you. On this piece right here, you can see where the, you know, it's been opened up. And so what we're going to try to do tomorrow is we're going to pull that off, and we're going to heat it up and try to compress it in the vise and get that thing back to where it needs to be. And then we've got to go ahead and take some sandpaper, sand the underside of the windshield frame, and get it prepped to go ahead and put a coat of paint on it. We want to go ahead and get a nice coat of semi-gloss paint on it, and we may end up prepping this area here and putting a little bit of paint on this as well to go ahead and so we've got a nice surface for this stuff to seal against. So, at any rate, that's about it for today, but we'll see you tomorrow. All right, we're back. It is the next day, and we've got the windshield frame that we've got to work on. Last night, I went ahead and poured some penetrating oil on some PB Blaster on the busted screws. This one here, I don't think we're going to have too much problem getting out, because all I'll do is, if I have too much trouble, we'll go ahead and just unbolt those, and then I can set it up and drill it out if I have to. This one here, I'm not so sure about. We're going to go ahead and take some heat to it and see if the heat will go ahead and help loosen that up. So we're going to give that a shot right now. Hit it with a little bit more PB Blaster here. Well, let's see if she'll come loose. These little ones are always real difficult. All right, that isn't going to work. We'll try these. I know you probably are not going to be able to see what I'm doing here real well, but yeah, I think this one's going to have to be drilled out. It's busted off pretty close to flush. So we'll get a little grinder, but let's go ahead and see if we've gone ahead and gotten this one to break loose here. Let's go ahead and hit it with a little bit more penetrating oil here. I don't want to break it off again. And I just did. Okay. Well, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pull this bracket off and see if maybe we might be able to sand it down and then pull it out from the other side. Well, let's go ahead and find a screwdriver bit to do that. Okay, those, and then we have 3 bolts on the front here that have to come off. All right. Okay, yeah, you can see now the reason why that thing didn't come out. So I think if we get in there and grind that flush, we should be able to pull that out from the backside. All right, so we're going to come in here and we're going to grind that little tip down, basically just to make sure there's no real sharp edges or buggered up edges that are going to keep it from threading out from the backside. We should be able to just flip this over. And then grab it from this side. Here we've got a lot more to grab a hold of. All right. Use these little ones here. We got room to. And there we go. Now the other one is going to be a different story. All right, because we're dealing with something that's this small, we're going to go in and we're going to kind of flatten that out. Okay, now we have a nice, clean, somewhat flat surface. We're going to take this machinist center punch. We're going to get it right about in the center. That'll leave a nice good center divot in there, and then we're going to go in with a 7/64 drill, which is much smaller than the hole that you would normally drill for a 1032 screw. And then we're just going to slowly, come on, bite you sucker. helpful if we had the drill chuck tighten up. There we go. Now she drilled all the way through. Now we're going to try a real small easy out. I don't think it's going to work. Usually doesn't. But we're going to give it a shot. And if that doesn't work, then we'll open it up with a we'll open it up with a little bit larger drill and try to get in there and tap, go in with a tap and thread. We're going to end up chasing the threads on this thing anyway. Nope, that is not going to work. Not even starting to move. Okay. The key to using these things, and I have busted a whole bunch of them, is give it some torque. If it does not break loose, stop. And then go to something else. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up with an 1/8 inch drill, which is a little bit smaller than the correct size, tap drill size for a 1032. But by opening it up, we should be able to, oh, I got to go get another drill. By opening it up, we should be able to possibly clean the threads out enough so that we can go in with a tap. So I'll be right back. Well, I grabbed the wrong drill to begin with. I did grab a an 1/8 inch, so I cored it with an 1/8 inch, but it needs a number 21, which is about 156 diameter, to go ahead and open it up. I've gone through there. Let's try it with the easy out again. There it is. All right. Nope, that's not going to do it. So I think what I'm going to have to do is go in with a little punch and see if I can chip that stuff out of there. I'm going with a little bitty ball peen hammer. All right, well, we've got that done. Now it's time to get our 1032 tap. Now, these threads are not going to be perfect, not by a long shot, but we're not talking about an awful lot of torque or anything else like that that we have to hold on to here. So there we go. have, and now we have nice threads again. Well, it is always difficult in removing stuck bolts and screws, especially when they're small like that. The main thing that you can do is just be patient with it, and drilling it out is pretty much the last resort, but hopefully you won't have to deal with this. But in dealing with old military vehicles like this, there's a good chance that you're going to have to at some point in time, especially if you're restoring them or maintaining them. So, well, folks, we're about out of time for this video. Stick around for the next one. We're going to be finishing up the windshield work and getting some more work done on getting the hardtop installed. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And leave a comment. I mean, if you like what I'm doing here, let me know. So at any rate, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks again for watching.